Well, you know what happened. We came to an agreement on a couple of different issues, class size and caseload, some things like that. We came to an agreement on that, which is great. And then came the counter proposal, and we showed the district that they can afford it. They've got a lot of reserves, a lot more reserves than they need, a lot more reserves than they're required to have, a lot more reserves than any surrounding district has. 200 million, over $200 million in reserves, which is a lot more than they need and they're required to have. We showed them how our proposal, our initial proposal at 9%, would have kept Jeffco competitive with surrounding districts, because a lot of surrounding districts have settled or they were close to settling. Denver and Boulder both have settled with an 8% COLA. And we showed them how with a 3.5% COLA, which is what they propose, is going to put us back at the very bottom of the surrounding school districts. We're not going to be competitive at 3.5%. And we showed them that. So our counter proposal was 8%. And the district said, well, we got to go talk about this. We'll be back in a half hour. Let's eat dinner and we'll be back and see what we can do. Now, remember, we moved this session from JCA, which is where it was originally scheduled to be, to the district, because the district said, let's move it because we'll have the right people in the building. We'll have the people that we need to talk to. We'll have decision makers there so we can get this done and we can talk to these people and come to a decision and be done on May 4th. So we went and ate dinner. Your JCA team spent that half hour eating dinner and talking about bargaining strategy, because that's what this is. This is bargaining. We go back and forth. You make a proposal, we make a proposal. You make a proposal, we make a proposal. We're not going to get everything that we want. They're not going to get everything that they want, and we meet in the middle somewhere. That's bargaining. That's how this works. So we talked about bargaining strategy. We talked about where we go from here. If the district does this, then we can do this. And if the district does that, then we can do that. And we can move back and forth. And where are we going to move? And what are we willing to give up on this year? What are we willing to cut on this year? What are we willing to die for this year? We had a strategy. We had movement. We were ready to go, because we had several hours left in this bargaining session. We came back after a half hour. The district didn't have not one single computer with them. And their response was, we can't give you a counter. What? Aren't the people in the building? Wasn't that the reason we came here? So you could have people in the building to give us a response and we can bargain and go back and forth and come to an agreement? Isn't that why we're here? The district said we can't give you a response because we're so far apart. They didn't have a counter. They didn't move. Their first offer, their last offer is 3.5%. They said, we'll see you on the 17th. Okay. Then the 17th it is. This is where you come in. There's a couple of things that are going to happen between now and the 17th. On the 11th is a school board meeting. All of you, me, everybody needs to be at that board meeting on the 11th, and we need to let the school board know 3.5% is not going to cut it. Inflation in Denver is over 5%. 3.5%? When all the other school districts are settling for well over that? 3.5%? The school board needs to hear that message, and they need to hear it from you. On the 17th, we're going to be back at the district. We're going to be in the boardroom. We're going to begin at 4:30, and you need to be there. Grab your teaching neighbor, grab the person across the hall, grab your neighbor down the street, grab your family members, grab people off the street and get them there with you. We need to fill the room. The district, when they walk into that room on the 17th, it needs to be a full room, not online. Assume this is not going to be live streamed. It is, but assume it's not, because being on live stream, being online is not going to cut it. Doesn't mean anything if you're online. You got to be in the room. The district needs to see your eyes. They need to know that you're looking at them and watching what they're doing. It needs to be full to the gills. We need to have overflow rooms. You need to be there. If you care about your paycheck, if you want to tell the district that your paycheck is more important than their reserves, that 3.5% is not going to cut it, you need to be there. And we're going to be there until we're done. And if we're not done on the 17th, we'll see them in August. Because it's the 17th or August. There is no in between. We're not talking about this in June. We're not talking about this in July. And the district can then explain to their new hires why they don't know what their new starting salary is going to be. And hopefully those new hires then don't jump ship to one of the surrounding school districts where they do know what their starting salary is going to be. And they do know that their district offered their employees more than 3.5%. I'll see you on the 17th. You've got to be there. Let's raise some hell.